Hello everyone, welcome to ThePapare.com as we discuss the upcoming South Africa versus Sri Lanka Test series. I have two gentlemen with me who will be discussing about the possibilities of the playing 11, the conditions in South Africa and so on. I have with me Farveez Maharoof and Russel Arnold, two former Sri Lankan cricketers here with me, two expert analysis. Good to have you both with us on ThePapare.com. First of all, Russell, how good is it to see the Sri Lankan team playing once again after a gap of about 8-9 months?
Yeah, it's a new feeling, but it is exciting because we would always like to see international cricket. It's been a time, of course, where it's been quite boring. Not much to follow, not much to work on, not much to even think of. So really looking forward to this series, and it's going to be a competitive series. As we know that South Africa slightly under strength, but it's not going to be easy because a lot of the equations are different. And also remember, Sri Lanka are coming off a long period where they haven't played any cricket, so it's going to be a tough one, but one which will be good for us, especially to watch.
Aviz, we are coming after the LPL. It's a T20 tournament. It was a T20 tournament. It was a very successful tournament, but now the real game starts. We are playing in Centurion and in Johannesburg. We'll talk about the 2019 win first, but let's talk about the change of formats, change of conditions, this whole biosecure facility in South Africa. Let's talk about that, Farid.
I think not the ideal preparation when it comes to going to important series such as playing in South Africa, especially Centurion Park and Wanderers. I mean, we know that it's one of the most difficult places to play, especially in the Highveld. And also, we haven't played the last series in those conditions. We played in Durban as well as Port Elizabeth, which is in the coast, and the wickets were not that quick. But I expect the wickets to be much quicker, especially in the Highveld, and also going in from a bubble to another bubble in South Africa. I don't think it's the easiest to adjust, because I was myself in a bubble for a month, and it's pretty hard on an individual to stay on a bubble. But that was about a month. But I understand the guys are going for another month or so. It'll be tough. I mean, mentally, it'll be very tough for them, and it's all about sticking together and making it interesting. So, overall, as Russ said, it's something that all Sri Lankans are waiting for. International cricket is back, and also you have memorable occasions before playing in South Africa. Last series being winning by 2-0. So, all to play for. Two good sides, and I'm absolutely thrilled and excited to see our boys go out there and perform.
Russell, before 2019, Sri Lankans, when we go to South Africa, would not be thinking of winning the series, might have some doubts. But now, after 2019, they'll be going in with a lot of confidence. Dimuth Karnaratne, he started off his captaincy in South Africa with that series win. So, do you think in somewhat, you said under strength South African team. So, do you think Sri Lankans will have some sort of a upper hand?
Not really. I think if you look at it that way, there would be problems. It's all about mentality and your approach that you take into these series. In the last series, I was out there, and the first test, Sri Lanka, that's what they did. And then on the back of Kusal Pereira's magnificent knock, there was a win. But the second test again, I was looking for South Africa to strike back, but Sri Lanka kept. So that's what you do in test series like this. Forget the opposition, because forget the word under strength. They're playing in home conditions. They'll have a lot of pride, and a lot of variations do come into it. But what Sri Lanka need to make sure is, we're playing in alien conditions. Yes, we won a couple of years ago, but since then we haven't had any cricket. Neither have we played in such conditions. Whatever conditions we've played in have been different conditions. So what Sri Lanka need to do is not continue from there. but look, compete, stay in the game and keep pushing. That's when the pressure tells and you will be able to get ahead. That's the way they won those two test matches, which were incredible indeed. So I think that's more the way they should go to it, rather than thinking that they have the upper hand. This is under strength South African team. Those are recipes for disaster, really.
Maha, now we won't have the services of Oshada Fernando. He's still injured. Angelo Matthews won't be there for both the tests. So do you think the Sri Lankan batting lineup will be changed around with the squad? There's a squad of 21 who's in South Africa at the moment.
I think middle order will be the same. I reckon Oshanda being out for at least for the first test, I reckon there's a good chance that Lairu Thirimanne will open with Damith Weerasinghe and Kusal to bat at number 5, where Angelo usually bats, and Chandi 4 and Dhananjay at 6 with Kusal Mendes at number 3. So that will be the setup in my opinion. But I mean, it's another chance. I mean, someone's lose, someone is gain. So Oshanda Fernando clearly is much more cemented, but unfortunately got injured during LPL. So it's another chance if Thirimanne gets a go ahead, and it's all about surviving the new ball in South Africa. We know that the pace attack of South Africa is really good. You need to make sure that the openers bat long enough so that the middle order can capitalize on in those conditions. So I reckon the openers will play a big role, and I feel that Thirimanne will definitely get the go ahead to open the first test.
Russell, do you have another opinion? I mean, will the Sri Lankans push Kusal Perera to open the innings, or have someone like Shanaka playing as a fast bowling all-rounder in the middle? Do you think that sort of a strategy will take place?
No, not for me, Damith. Kusal stays where he is. That's where he's been good and dominant. And as Farveez said, if the new ball is seen off, that's when batsmen like Kusal Perera can really take control and push Sri Lanka to a different level. Going back to the last series, if my memory serves me right, Angelo's not a part of that either. So the batting order stays the same for me. Thirimanne at the top. We will miss Oshada Fernando because the way he bats, he's one of the few Sri Lankan batsmen who tends to offer the full face of the bat all the time, and that will be very handy in these harder conditions. Dasun Shanaka has improved as a cricketer. He's shown that he can be trusted with the bat, but he's not really played test cricket, and these are going to be different conditions. But I still do think with what he has to offer, he can slot in along with Kusal Perera towards that lower middle order. That will depend on the final balance of the team, depending on the final assessment of the pitch on offer. And a word on the pitch, just as Maha said before, in South Africa, right now in South Africa, the grounds or the pitches that offer most pace and bounce are the Centurion and the Wanderers, where Sri Lanka are playing the two test matches. In the past, in the time that we did play, it was all about Durban, but that equation has changed, and these two venues are just an hour apart. So Sri Lanka will be based in one place and head to the two grounds, which is easier to manage the bubble.
Maha, now let's talk about the bowling attack of the Sri Lankan team. We know Suranga Lakmal will be the spearhead. Lahiru Kumara is an automatic choice, but will we see a four-seam attack, or do you think Vishwa Fernando will play instead of Dushmantha Chameera as third seam, or will Asul Rajith be played? Who do you think will be the makeup of the pace attack or the bowling attack of Sri Lanka?
I reckon Damith, with Dushmantha Chameera showing the form what he did, especially during the LPL and keeping fit, bowling close to 150s, I think he's a strong contender to play alongside Suranga and Lahiru. And also talking about Centurion, I reckon playing a genuine spinner, especially at Centurion, is a compulsory, because generally we've seen Centurion does take turn on the 4th and the 5th day. It turns with bounce, so that's where Lasith Thamuleniya becomes very handy, especially when there is bounce. He is someone that we can rely on. But when it comes to Wanderers, I feel maybe an option of going with 4 fast bowlers, and because you need to take 20 wickets, and or else we could play with 3 genuine fast bowlers and Dasun Shanaka as a 4th seamer who can bat at number 8. So those are the combinations the selectors and the think tank must be thinking on. But definitely at Centurion, I'll go with 3 quicks probably, in my opinion, it will be Suranga, Lahiru, and a fight between Vishwa or Dushman Chamili for the third seamer spot, and Lasit Tambuldeni and 7 batters. But when it comes to Johannesburg, there'll be a strong contention of playing 4 seamers up front, trying to take all 20 wickets, because if you see the history, even when India played their last in Wanderers, they played with 5-man pace attack with Hardik Pandya. So I reckon that's something that the think tank will think on.
Yes, definitely. But Russell, from the South African point of view, new Test captain, few changes in their squad as well, and they need to play this series. First of all, the last ODI series against England was cancelled because of the biosecurity reasons. So, what do you think from the South African point of view, under Quinton de Kock, how will this South African lineup be?
Well, I think they'll be dangerous because the underdogs are always a team that you need to be careful of, and they're playing at home. They will be a little bit more familiar with how to use the conditions here. And when you look at them and don't give them much of a chance, that's when a lot of teams really do stand up. The opportunity for these younger cricketers, a lot of them have been waiting around for opportunities, a lot of first-class experience there and skill. So it's not about writing them off. They will be a hard bunch to crack. If Sri Lanka are to get ahead, I think Sri Lanka need to start strong and make South Africa doubt their new setup. That's when they will not have the experience or that belief to fight back. But yes, they have to play because they need the Test championship points, and this is a long summer. It's at this time that boards do tend to make their earnings, and those are with the domestic series. If this doesn't go ahead, they'll have problems in hosting the teams like Australia and others who are due to travel later on in the summer, but early next year. So for many reasons, they need to showcase that the Sri Lanka series goes ahead and successfully to actually make us feel comfortable of touring South Africa.
Finally, Farveez, Russell, I'll have a quick answer from you both. You think Sri Lanka will be competitive and will be able to replicate 2019? What do you think, Farveez?
I think we'll have definitely a good chance with the players that we have, and also, as you said, the history definitely will favor us. But all in all, playing South Africa in their home conditions is never easy. But if we are to win series again in South Africa, if we have the best squad, I think we do have the best squad because of the fast bowlers with the options what we have, especially with 4 of them competing for it. So I reckon, if you ask me a percentage of Sri Lanka winning it, I would say 60-40 Sri Lanka, because I just feel that feel good factor is there for me that we could do it again in South Africa. It all depends on, you need to be competing at all times. We know that South Africa has some experienced players as well as newcomers, and also they are under pressure to perform in their home. Then that's where we could capitalize, and if we could compete in all departments in both the venues, I reckon we will have a very good chance.
Russell, this time around you won't be in the commentary box in South Africa, but you'll be at your home, the luxury of your home, watching the series. So do you think you'll be able to see another 2019 kind of win?
Well, we'd hope so. I do have a fine balanced team that can go ahead and challenge. It all comes down to, now we mentioned and we know, of course, we know that cricket hasn't happened and there are a lot of issues, bubbles, mentality, all that comes into it. But the fact is, there's no room for excuses. You just have to get out there and play, and the players know it because you're hungry. You want to be playing and you can't stop for any other reason. So if they go out there with the right attitude and with an approach to attack the South Africans, I think Sri Lanka will have a great chance, an exciting chance. I feel that they're a happy bunch at the moment, happy to be out in the park. and a lot of players are in good nick. But one thing to say that I'd like to see Lahiru Kumara and Dushmantha Chamira play together. I think that will be exciting for Sri Lanka.
Of course. So thank you very much, Farveez and Russell, for joining with us on thepapare.com. We hope to hear from you soon again as we go along in this four test matches for Sri Lanka, two in South Africa, two in Sri Lanka against England. So thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining with me.
Yes, Damith.
Cheers, guys. Merry Christmas.
So, as Russell said, Merry Christmas to everyone, and hopefully the Sri Lankan team will bring gifts with wins in South Africa. So stay tuned to thepapare.com as we bring all the coverage from South Africa on this two-match series.